Hi, I'm Doug Nilsson. I'm a speaker, an author, a coach, a psychotherapist, and I want to share with you today how you can develop empathy as a leader. It is something that can be developed, and you can begin today to improve upon it right away, particularly as you stay to the end of this video. I'll show you how you can do just that. One key that ultra successful leaders develop is simply empathy. And you stay tuned to the end. I'll give you a tool about how you can take and develop your empathy at a new level. His name is the Horse Whisperer of Eden. He is just that, a horse whisperer. He helps people, he said, that who are broken inside connect with the soul of a horse to heal them. And he talked to me about a story. He said one of the most important things that you can do in working with a horse is to develop a relationship with them. Because when it gets important, if you're on a trail and it's a single track little trail, and you're on the ledge of a cliff and a rattlesnake pops up, just like happened to me the other day, if your horse doesn't trust you, it will go to its instincts and it will rear. And he said, and death can happen pretty quick. The same thing happens as a leader. If you don't develop a connection with your people, now granted, clearly we want to get results. That's what we do as leaders, we get results. But if you don't have that connection, they can go to their instincts, if you will, and they'll go and act on their own and perhaps even sabotage you as opposed to align with you, where you create resonance. That is the key and the power of developing empathy as a leader. If people don't perceive you care, they don't care how much you know. My brother worked at the railroad, Union Pacific Railroad, for years. And he said this, Doug, I don't know all the psychobabble mumble jumble that you talk about, but I do know this. Once you win people's hearts, they will walk through fire for you. And I got to be honest with you, on his team, he had literally some mentally ill people that he could align like herding cats, but they would bend over backwards for him because they knew and they perceived that he cared about them. Therefore, they were willing to follow him. You have got to be able to continually develop empathy for your people and then lead them to that result. Sometimes it can be so easy to label as a leader, to label people as lazy, incompetent, whatever the case, a troublemaker. The moment you label somebody, and this is the dangerous part, the moment that you label somebody, you have now just justified treating them less than a human. Because after all, I'm a good person, they're a screw up. When you're in the labeling mode, I know in my world, it's time to take a time out and it's time to recalibrate. Because when what I want becomes more important than what you want, empathy is out the window. And I need to pause and pull back and say, what is going on? Because when my heart doesn't care about people, because what do leaders do after all? They're in the people business. And when you hate people, that's usually not a good place to operate from as a leader. So we need to pause, take a time out. What is the ultimate goal as a leader? It is, number one, to solve problems. It's to create opportunities. And it's to develop people in order to achieve a desired result. But without empathy, over time, I can promise you it won't happen. Okay, I want to just take a pause here and I'm going to go through some questions. And I want you to go introspectively just to see, where are you at? Where's your heart? Is it full of empathy? And are you moving forward to creating that resonance so that you can problem solve, create opportunities, and develop your people? I want you to look inside and hopefully there'll be one or two ahas that will help you improve and say, yeah, I could use some more empathy. Here are the questions. True or false? More often than not, I subtly view others as annoying, as a problem to be solved. True or false? More often than not, I put myself in others' shoes, imagining how they might feel. True or false? I don't solicit suggestions or ideas from others because my ideas usually are better than theirs. True or false? I feel rushed and I'm too busy for people, too many things to do. True or false? I find reasons to avoid people if at all possible. True or false? I'm distracted and I don't listen as well as I could. True or false? When someone complains, I quickly remind them that they're lucky to have a job. True or false? I don't ask for advice from others on how to solve problems. I solve them myself. True or false? When things go wrong, I shift into blame and to fault finding as a leader. True or false? When there's a big problem, I ask questions to better understand what is happening. True or false? When I feel questioned or threatened about something, I get defensive or make excuses. Last two, true or false? I'm quick to reassure others when they have a concern, inadvertently dismissing their feelings. Last one, true or false, I am quick to label or judge others. Now I know some of those seem a little bit extreme, like of course I don't do that. But I'll be honest with you, I find myself doing those nearly every day, and I have to pause, recalibrate, and remind myself I want to develop more empathy as a leader. So how do you do that? I want to share the tool with you now. So the best is yet to come, but before we move on, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you will. Now here's the tool. And this is called Switch Empathy. It takes a moment to do, but it yields incredible results for you. Now there are 3 steps in this Switch Empathy. And I have my handy dandy little chart here to show you how to do that, right? So number 1, you'd grab a piece of paper. So if you're having empathy issues with somebody, this is how you develop it in the real world. Number 1, you write a document about how you see it. How you see that maybe they're being a jerk, or they're being clueless or insensitive or a doughhead or whatever that is. And you write it out on a piece of paper. Get it all out, dump it, brain dump it all over that paper. Number 2 then, you are now going to shift completely into a completely different mindset, their mindset. And you're going to say, how do they see it? And then you're going to do your best. And don't just do it haphazardly. I really want you to go into their shoes, because they feel just as strongly about their view as you do about your view. I want you to get into their mindset and then write why, how come they might see it this way. Do your very best to see through their eyes. Something begins to shift. And then here's the kicker. This is so much fun. The last piece right here, go to your future best self and say, okay, future best self, how do I want to see this? And then you write from your future best self how you would like to see this situation, so that when you have this meeting with this person, you can come from a place of switch empathy, where you can enter into their shoes. You might even go not just from your future best self, but you might go, if you like your grandma, right? You might say, Grandma, how would you proceed with this? Or it could be your dad, or it could be somebody you've never even met. It could be Jesus, it could be Buddha, whatever that is, to look into the future and say, how do I want to deal with this? When it's all said and done, I want to deal with this with honor. I want to grow. Switch Empathy can help you to do that in a real powerful way. And if you take the time and energy, I promise you'll feel a shift in here. Your heart goes from this hard, it softens. And you still may not see eye to eye, but you can have empathy, and that can really help avoid all kinds of difficulties and conflicts that can come if you don't. A while back, I had an opportunity to apply Switch Empathy. Good friend of mine was on a board with. Something had happened, and I was really livid. I was mad, right? And I began to put together a text, and I'm putting this text, it would have just ripped his face off, okay? And then I remembered, Doug, remember the 24-hour rule, that when your emotion is high, don't send a text, don't make a phone call, you know that. And so I went, ugh, and I put the phone down, and then I thought, I need to shift, because where my heart is at right now, I am mad. I can't believe he did this. How dare he betray me like that? And then I stopped. 3 pieces of paper. Yes, it only takes you a few moments. I went down. How do I see it? Blah, I got it all out. Number 2, some slow, deep breathing, looking through his eyes, and dumped everything I possibly could to see it from his point of view. And then I went to that future best self. Said, okay, how do you want to handle this? I went to Grandma. Grandma, how would you handle this? And I'll tell you what, then a few hours later, I didn't need the full 24 hours. I sent a text and set up a time to talk with him. I could have easily ruined a lifelong relationship. I mean lifelong. I could have ruined by my overreaction. Switch Empathy helped me to save that. You can do the same thing with your employees. You see a troubled employee that you're having a difficult time with. Yes, you can still be strong and you can have boundaries, but this helps you come from a much better place when you do the Switch Empathy. Because developing empathy is one of the ultra skills that you need as a leader to go to the highest level that you can go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, but also go to another video that is entitled Why It's Important to Have a Growth Mindset. It'll build on this, and I think you'll really like it.